Hello, it's been a while, hasn't it? It really has. I've not really got much of a plan in terms of today's talk. I'll just talk some shit, I guess, as I normally do. So yeah, I got back from travelling like just over a week and a half ago. I've got 2.5 weeks till Australia. Yeah, that's not long. Start to do some planning, start to look forward to it a bit, I guess. And the only reason I'm looking forward to it really is because I'm sort of getting out of this environment and moving to a completely different environment. One, hopefully, a decent amount more conducive to my goals, like of personal development and shit. So yeah. One of the things I want to talk about is sort of like people who, well, not people, like practices which people just disregard and denounce just because they sound so against common sense. It's quite an interesting thing, really. So one of the things I talked about with a friend the other day who is actually kind of, pretty adept in this, is like sexual transmutation. And it sounds nuts. It just sounds like fucking stupid. Like you almost orgasm and then you redirect the energy, right? The sperm and the energy from your crotch, from your bollocks. You have to bring it up your back and into your brain. It's like, what? It's like, no. It's like, what the fuck? No, it's horse shit. It's like, what do you call it? Snake oil. Bollocks, right? But the thing is, it's so easy to just dismiss it as that because it goes against, everything that we believe, I guess. Because it doesn't sound scientific, it's probably never going to be proven by science, to the minute details. It can, perhaps some observations could be made in people who do this practice, in comparison to people who don't. But then people will say, oh, it's placebo, yada, yada, yada. It's actually doing something else in the brain. It's nothing to do with this sublimation. This redirection of energy, it's nothing to do with that. That is bullshit. We're just telling ourselves that, whereas we're actually tricking our brain into doing something else, because that's a materialist way of looking at it, right? And being brought up in the West, most people are materialistic. Most people are materialists, and I don't just mean like, they like to collect things, but I mean in the sense of materialism is that there is no spirituality, that the soul, consciousness is essentially just a firing of load of synapses and so neurochemicals and stuff. There's nothing else more than that. There's nothing more than the material. So the material is literally just atomic, we are nothing more than a collection of atoms. It's very, if you really go into it, to me, it's pretty nihilistic. It's, obviously there's no meaning to life or anything. It's just, we're just matter. That's it. That's materialism, right? So we're brought up essentially with that, and we've discarded so much in terms of like spirit and stuff. Even now, Christianity is nowhere near as prevalent as it once was, and religion is very spiritual. Or some religions are more than others anyway. Imagine Hinduism and Buddhism are very spiritual. More so than Christianity and Islam, I'm guessing. Anyway, we just discard these practices as even having any merit, right? We just, we rid them of their merit, or of the potential they can have merit. Same with meditation, right? A lot of people look at meditation and just say, oh yeah, you just sit there with your eyes closed, focusing on your breath and going, om, and just doing this shit. It's it's wank, right? But it's not for me anyway. It's fantastic for so many people. It's incredible, but there isn't a lot of science behind it. There also isn't a lot of science behind not masturbating and not watching porn. So porn, and that is a huge market. But yeah, I refuse to just discredit these sort of things without paying any attention to them. I do, however, think that there is a lot of snake oil. I don't believe in the fucking astrology and your star sign tells you this, that, and that, as if that's some precursor to what people born on those dates will be like. That's some signifier. I also don't believe in like crystal work, crystal therapy. Put a crystal and I don't know what you do with it, slap it on your forehead and bam, you've discovered the light bulb or whatever. I don't believe in that shit. I say shit, but they might have some merit. So yeah, where's the line, right? But I think spirituality is a thing which cannot really be explained by science, or we don't have the capacity to explain by science yet anyway. And perhaps in the future there'll be some 6 minutes, fuck me. There'll be perhaps some intertwining, some, grey area in between the two. So yeah, that's that. I also think that a lot, society wouldn't really want, a lot of solid science to come out about the negatives of porn and addiction in general, and drinking. And it is out there, but you have to dig for it. It's not like the number one bestseller. Independent booksellers or booksellers in general don't put it on the front shelf like, read this, you need to know this shit. Of course, because it doesn't make as much money. And so yeah, same with these practices of like sexual transmutation, semen retention, and transmuting the energy. It isn't mainstream knowledge, and it probably never will be, especially in the West, because people instantly are just ignorant to it. They don't want to hear about it because it's just bullshit straight away. As soon as they hear it, they just attribute the word bullshit to it. Yeah, it will probably never be mainstream. It's too spiritual. It's not very material. You can't really. It takes a long time to practice before you get any results. Similar to meditation. So yeah, it'll never be mainstream. And what I don't believe there are some geezers up top being like, no, this is what we do. Let's subjugate the masses. Let's enslave them through giving them porn and through making them think wanking every day is fine. Whereas a lot of people in the East say basically when you're jacking off and you're coming, and you're even having sex and you're coming, they say like you're basically giving away your bioenergy, your life energy. You're literally just coming in, you're just throwing it away into a sock or into a bloody bit of latex and then throwing it away or flushing it down the toilet. They say that you're just dispersing it into nothingness essentially. So you're just wasting it. Now, I'm not saying I believe that. Oh yeah, there is a thing called bioenergy, and fucking when you come, you just empty of fuel to keep living or whatever. But I've noticed in myself, like when I've gone a long time without wanking, that I feel when you get over the urges and you can just not distract yourself, but you have something more meaningful you're working toward. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I've felt that more energized and stuff. And I don't need to wait for, Mr. Dr. fucking Jones to write a paper on the science behind wanking and not wanking. I've experienced it firsthand. It's empirical. It's evidence I've gathered. And also this has been a practice in the East for apparently about 5,000 years now. 2,500 years. Something else was 5,000 years. I don't fucking know, but a long time. So it's very easy to say, these silly old bloody Asian men, what the fuck are they on about? Chatting shit again, ha ha ha. well, no, that's pretty ignorant, I'd say. Anything else I want to talk about? No, not really. That's about it. Apparently, you gotta keep your third eye open. Some people say. I don't know. Just not be ignorant of things just because it sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. You know, stay curious. Not be naive, but listen, process, and don't be completely certain against something like that. You know, it sounds a bit hoodoo voodoo. Yeah, that's about it.